On today's episode, ladies and gentlemen, please take a seat. Non-binary people, stand up. We're talking about non-binary today. Don't look in the window. So lately I've been thinking about the rainbow, LGBTQIA+, and I realized that there's a few identities that are not getting their fair share of the limelight, that are not getting their day in the sun. We know about lesbians, we know about gays, we know about bisexuals, we know about transgender people. But there's quite a few others that don't usually get put in the front of the list that we hardly ever talk about. First and foremost is non-binary people. Non-binary people, they make up a huge portion of our society, and we don't even we treat them like a second thought. It's like, ladies and gentlemen, and also NBs. Ladies and gentlemen, and also non-binary folks. Right off the bat, what is non-binary? For those of you that don't know, non-binary refers to individuals who do not identify as either the binaries of masculine, male, or feminine, female. They are something both in between or completely opposite and away from. All right? We'll get back to that issue in a second. But non-binary individuals do not identify as being either a man or a woman. And this is to many varying degrees. You've got people who might be a Demi something. Like a Demi girl is not necessarily a girl. A Demi boy is not necessarily a boy. There's something else. And that's at the far end of the binary spectrum. Closer to the male-female. You also have people who are gender fluid or gender queer, who their identities can change day to day on how they choose to present their gender. There's also agender people who have no gender whatsoever. They're like, hey, I didn't buy a ticket to play your game. I'm not included in this discussion. Today we're discussing you. We are discussing all non-binary individuals. Please be aware that in this episode, I will be using the umbrella term non-binary to encompass all people who do not identify solely as male, solely as female, or have any gender whatsoever. So it's an umbrella term for people who are outside of the binary. For those of you who were not aware, non-binary representation falls underneath the trans umbrella within the LGBTQIA+. That being said, most transgender individuals, such as myself, are binary. For example, I identify as female. I identify as a transgender woman. I fall into one of the two binaries. But the cool thing is, non-binary individuals have this awesome Schrodinger's cat type relationship when it comes to gender. If we were to view gender as a spectrum, with male and female being the extremes on either side, many non-binary people could fall somewhere in the middle, either more or less. Even more interesting, oftentimes, non-binary individuals don't end up anywhere on the spectrum at all. Think of it this way. You have this entire identity where you can be neither one nor the other, encompass roles of both, and also be outside of it entirely. That is some next level shit. Hey! Fun fact, in many research studies across the globe, including the Trevor Project, 1 in 4 LGBT youths identified as non-binary. As society grows ever more tolerant of LGBT individuals, even if it's begrudgingly, I do feel like they're going to have to open up more spaces to people that do not fit into the male or female binary. For example, in 2018, California, Oregon, and Washington State all passed legislation allowing a third sex indicator on their driver's licenses. That is a huge milestone. In fact, the states of New York and Vermont were considering similar legislation. So we are seeing some progress in certain states. Shrimp break. That was good. And of course, we can't talk about non-binary individuals without discussing pronouns. Something a lot of my non-binary viewers probably feel deep in their hearts. Yeah, whenever we're talking about non-binary issues or non-binary individuals, pronouns are usually one of the things that you are forced to talk about. And this video is no exception. Let's talk about them. So, a common thing that occurs, not only in the cis-hetero world, but also within the community, the LGBT community, we, especially the older ones, like older millennials and onward, have a difficult time with pronouns. We get tripped up on the pronouns. Oh, that person looks feminine, so I'm going to refer to them as she, her. Or, oh, that person looks masculine. I'm going to refer to him as he, him. That's not always the case. Transgender people feel that a lot, but not as much as non-binary people. Woo! Non-binary people, y'all's the real MVPs. You're out there every single day getting misgendered. Like, if a transgender person gets misgendered 1 to 2 times a day, it ruins their week. Oh! I can't believe it. They called me he. They called me him. Yeah, try being non-binary. That is going to happen around the clock, sometimes within the LGBT community, sometimes within your own family. It's just going to happen. It shouldn't happen. It really shouldn't happen. And instead of going on and on about they, them, z, them, zer, I did want to take a quick moment to tell you a few ways that you could be a better ally and support your non-binary friends. Here's some quick tips. So I have 2 easy ways of remembering to use the correct pronouns. You ready? Good. So number 1, treat it like a game. How easy is that? Have you ever played a game where it's like, this is a rule, you can't say or do this, no pointing, that kind of thing? Remember your friend's pronouns and be diligent about using them correctly. That's the whole goal of the game. You never want to use the wrong pronouns. Now, I know that's a little bit demeaning and degrading for non-binary individuals to be like, oh, that's what we got to do now. It really does help out. Like, even people in the LGBT community will mistakenly use the wrong pronouns from time to time. I have noticed that when I'm dealing with my own friends and relatives, I do a much better job when I keep in mind, okay, they're here, we're going to play this game where I do not mess up the pronouns. That way it's always kind of going in the back of my head, and I'm always catching myself, and I'm keeping myself in this frame of mind where it's like, I don't want to lose, I want to win. What am I winning? Making life easier for this individual. If I want people to respect me and my name and my pronouns, I got to make sure that I'm doing that for others. And this includes, and especially important for non-binary people, because they get it all the time. All the time. Even from family. And it's like, how could you forget your child's own pronouns? How could you forget your sibling's own pronouns? What is wrong with you? So what you do is you treat it like a game, okay? You have somebody who's just either newly identifying as non-binary, and you're still working it into your vocabulary and refabricating this person in your mind or your image of them in your mind. Just put the tagline on there, they, them, or whatever pronouns that they prefer, and you make sure that in conversation, and even referring to them when they are not around. This is super important. You don't just do it in front of them. You do it when people are talking about them. You do it when you're talking about them. And you don't make a big deal of it either. I tell my friends at work and stuff, oh yeah, I was hanging out with my NIBLING. They came over, they're playing drums now, they're pretty awesome, they're a great artist. It's like that easy. It kind of really is. You treat it like a game. When you're talking to them, give yourself some credit. I'm sure that they will be like a little bit understanding. They get it a lot, but just like with the pronouns with transgender people, we know when you mean well. If you say the wrong pronoun and it looks like you stepped on glass, like, ooh, we know that you meant well and that you're sorry about it and that you're going to try to do better. If you're doing it like, ha ha ha, then we know that you're a hater. There's varying degrees within that, but like generally, transgender people and non-binary people, we understand when you mix up our pronouns on accident. All that we ask is that, you try a little bit more and over time you get better at it. That's all it is. We just hope that one day you'll win the game. That's what it is. Oh, and the second way of remembering pronouns when it comes to non-binary people. Think of your non-binary friends as fairies. What do I mean? I don't mean fairies as in like sparkly little pixies and stuff. I mean as in the fae, the good people. Those earthly spirits that you do not want to upset. The type of people that you go ahead, you leave offerings out to, milk and bread. You respect them because they are powerful. Whereas you and I, talking to people who are in the binary, might be within the whole constraints of male, female. They exist within and without. That makes them some extra planar beings type stuff. They are deities, all right? Walking among us. Treat them like the good people. Treat them like fae. Always show respect. You can love them. You can adore them. They're beautiful. They're mysterious. They're cryptids. But you gotta respect them because they have powers that you cannot even comprehend. All right? And that is true for all my non-binary friends. You are powerful deities walking among us mere mortals. Somehow every day you are both within and without of this entire construct civilization came up with, and you just walk through it like it's nothing. If you really think about it, it's kind of spooky. You're spooky, and I love it. I mean, like, look at me. I love spooky stuff, and I absolutely love non-binary people. Y'all is some, like, good people face stuff. I swear. Y'all's deities. So yeah, there's two different ways of remembering the pronouns. Number one is, treat it like a game. You're playing to win. You're going to get better as you practice and go along. Also, it makes people feel good. Do it especially when those people are not in the room or not part of the conversation. If you're talking about them, use the right pronouns. Number two, treat them like fae. Treat them like fairies. You don't want to upset them. They're beautiful to look at, but they are dangerous. All right? So you got to treat them with respect. That goes for all non-binary people. Doesn't matter. Those were just two of my quick tips on how to remember the pronouns. Alright, since we're on the topic of pronouns, I thought that I'd share with you a few gender-neutral pronouns that you can use and try out. Now, this isn't gender-neutral pronouns like they, them, ze, zer. These are like relationship pronouns. Like, this person is my mother, father. This person is my uncle, aunt. This person is my niece, nephew. Alright? It's going to be the gender-neutral terms for each of those categories. Beginning with mother or father, the gender-neutral term is parent. Alright? Parent. You already know that one. Is this my mom or my dad? No, this is my parent. That's an easy one. Moving on to brother, sister. What do you think the gender-neutral term for brother or sister is? It's sibling. Sibling. You already know sibling. Yeah, I'm the oldest of 2 siblings. Or they over there, they have like 3 or 4 different siblings. You can also shorten it down to sib. S-I-B, sib. Oh, this is my sib. Okay, gender-neutral term for aunt or uncle. It's pibling. P-I-B-L-I-N-G. Pibling. How cute is that? Oh yeah, me and my pibling, we went fishing. Yeah, I ended up catching a huge fish. Or like, yeah, my pibling and I went out, we got some ice cream. It was a hot day, we decided to go for a car ride. My pibling brought me a snow cone. Something like that. Here's one that I use personally. Gender-neutral term for a niece or a nephew is nibbling. N-I-B-L-I-N-G. Nibbling. Pibling is an aunt or an uncle. Nibbling is a niece or a nephew. I use that a lot. Like, hey, JC, how are the kids doing? Oh, you know, they're doing well in school. Yeah, I was talking to my nephew, my 2 nieces, and my nibbling, and they're all rocking it. Ready for summer. They're ready to get it over with. Nibbling. A few gender-neutral terms for a son or a daughter. Child. This is my child. Hi there, child. What's up, kiddo? Kiddo, K-I-D-D-O. That's a good one. Yeah, my oldest, my youngest. That's my kiddo. That's my child. You can also use SPROG. S-P-R-O-G. SPROG is another term for someone who is your offspring. SPROG. For a grandmother or a grandfather, grandparent. Grandparent. That one's pretty obvious. You can also use Nini, N-I-N-I, or Bibi, B-I-B-I. Gender neutral term for the parent of your parent. Nini or Bibi. Alright, so now moving on from the family terms, we now go on to gender neutral terms for your significant other, your partner. Starting off, gender neutral term for boyfriend, girlfriend. This is my partner. This is my partner. This is my person. Or this is my date. Or this is my lover. Yeah, they're my partner. This is my person. I love my person. This is my person. If you're already in a marriage or are a fiance or something, you could go, yeah, this is my significant other. This is my betrothed. This is my life partner. That's another good one. My spouse. This is my spouse. Moving on from romantic type partners to just all in all friends. I don't like the word dude so much. Being transgender woman, I don't really like when people say dude or bro. I don't like those, and I try not to use those for my non-binary friends either, because dude and bro do have somewhat of a male context to them. I try not to use those. Here's a few words that I do use quite often. If I'm speaking to the individual, yo, hey yo, what's happening? Yo, what's up? Yo, what you been up to? That takes place of dude or bro, easily. Yo, what's going on? Yo is gender neutral. Awesome. If you're talking to the individual, yo. So if you're going to refer to or talk to a group of people and you want to encapsulate everyone without really gendering it at all, if you want to keep it gender neutral, instead of saying guys, a lot of us are guilty of that and stuff like, hey, you guys coming over tomorrow? Or like, what are you guys doing? I don't like that because, again, it's got connotations of one or the other. What I have been using for about 10 or 12 years now is I use the word folks. What's up, folks? Or I'm out of here. See ya, folks. Or like, you folks coming over tomorrow? Or like, so, how did you folks meet? That's a great one right there. So, how did you folks meet? You know what I mean? Then you automatically can start a conversation without like missing the pronouns. Oh, you two make a cute couple. How'd you folks meet? That's perfect. Then you're not going around trying to play the guessing game, or if you're too embarrassed to just ask. And honestly, the easiest thing you could just do is just ask. How do you ask? Because it's scary. Just walk up to him and be like, hey, my name's JC, she, her pronouns. How's it going? If you give your pronouns first, hi, my name's JC, she, her. How's it going? Or, hi, my name's JC, she, her pronouns. Nice to meet you. You introduce yourself with your pronouns first, giving the other person time to catch up. Or if they are non-binary, you'll see their face light up because it's like you just smoothly entered the conversation. That will like make their day. I'm telling you, I've done this before. Oh, little baby, there's a little baby walking around outside. I'm sorry, I got distracted. There was a baby outside. The baby has a parent. We're good. Also, by the way, me saying that was all gender neutral. Huh, go figure. Baby has a parent. Examples happening in real life. Yeah, so that's a really good way of doing it. And then that kind of indicates, hey, I would like for you to give me your pronouns so that we can like all agree, so that we can all be in agreement and stuff. Because hardly anybody goes out there purposely wanting to hurt somebody's feelings. Most of the time, it's going to be just an accident. And then you feel bad because you used the wrong words. And then they feel bad because it's like, oh, this is happening again. Even if you don't mean it, sometimes it gets a little bit rough. So whenever you're about to introduce yourself to new people, or you're about to make a video to an audience, or write some literature, and you need to grab everyone's attention, keep in mind that not everyone is going to fall into the category of ladies and gentlemen. You need to be including everybody. Try to keep things gender neutral as much as possible and to the degree that you are comfortable with. All right? It can be hard for some people. Just years and years and years of this is all that's available to us. But like, really open your eyes. There's a lot of transgender and non-binary people in the world. There's a lot of people who don't identify one way or the other. And you need to be inclusive. You need to like include a lot more people, especially if you're LGBT. All right? Especially if you're within the rainbow, extend a hand out to your cousins, out to your siblings, out to your parents and your children. Make sure that all of these folks are included because they are super freaking valid. And also, you do not want to piss them off. Also, keep in mind that these people are like the Fae, all right? They're beautiful, they're elegant, they're mythological and otherworldly, and you need to respect them and their immense power. You need to respect them at all times. You can be enthralled with them and their beauty and their presence, but keep in mind that they're walking deities, and you needed to take that into regards. You need to be nice to them. We bow down to non-binary individuals. Please bless our crops and our homes. We love all of you. And honestly, do you want to end up traveling through time and space in different dimensions? Be kind to non-binary people, and be kind to the Fae. They're pretty much one and the same. That being said, I love all of you, and I look forward to seeing all of you again next week. Bye.